thank you everyone for joining this webinar. It's really exciting to have you on the call today. I'm going to start by sharing my screen and we are going to go through the software together. So when you log on to Autogen AI, it will take you to the Ideator page. Now, something to always remember is that when you are using the software, there's no set starting point, there's no set ending point. Autogen AI was created, developed, and founded by bid writers for bid writers. It has that mentality that each functionality and each element of the tool is meant to be supported through your bid writing process and your bid writing journey. So I am going to go through each of the toolbars at the top to show you what it can do, where it can take you, and for you to see how Autogen AI is designed to give businesses that competitive edge needed to win new work. You'll be able to see what the purpose of these features are and the benefits that it has and how it can support you. As you know, Autogen AI is one of the fastest growing generative AI companies in the UK. And right now, our enterprise level solutions are being accessed by clients across 3 continents for bid writing. So it is also used to be remembered for thought leadership, marketing, copywriting, and so much more. As this is a cutting edge AI, it is a natural language processing software. And that is what makes our company so unique and so time saving. It is really about improving the quality of bid writing as well as proposals. Right, so let's begin. Here we have the Ideator tool, which is where you would come to generate ideas. It's really great for storyboarding, wanting to structure your response, get ideas for those specific bulleted bid questions. We have Extract, which allows you to extract key information from large documents. You can see that you can upload up to 2 gigs per file, and you'll have the ability to extract bid decision information, the commissioner's priorities, compliance statistics, date and timelines, or even extracting specific subject-specific keywords like data protection. We have the editing tool, which is where you would edit your response. This is about response generation. And here you have the ability to expand, summarize, improve your grammar, change your tense, rephrase, translate to a different language, incorporate specific win themes, tender requirements, commissioners' priorities, hot buttons. If you're in marketing, CEO words. We even have the ability to change using the we will transformation to change from an active voice and from a passive voice to an active voice, changing from specification text to bid writing text. You will have the ability to reduce your word or character count, word cutting by removing adjectives, adverbs, replacing commas with slashes. We have our evidencing tools, which is explaining how, add statistics, for example, adding a case study, and being able to search through your library, as well as pure completion and tone of voice. I will go through all of these. I just wanted to give you an overview first. We have the research assistant, which is where you want to ask those specific factual-based questions that you might want to embed those facts into your bid response, or even if it's just a fact that you need. So let's come back to the Ideator. As you can see, we have Library AI, Creative AI, and Internet AI. So Internet AI is pulling everything that is up to date on the internet. Creative AI has a knowledge cutoff up to 2021, but Creative AI is trained on over anything that has ever been written. It is analyzing and reading 700 billion words at a time. And Library AI is accessing what is in your library. So if you wanted to see what is in your library, you'd head over to your name and you'd go to your document library folder. And here you can see that there are different folders for different sectors, business units, and you would essentially arrange your document library as you would your bid library. It would essentially mirror your bid library. Now, the beauty is here is that you do have the ability to search for something specific. So if I wanted to search for anything in relation to IT, all the folders would come up in relation to IT, as you can see. So for example, if you are in a specific business unit and you only need to generate using that specific folder, you can head over to library settings and you'll see now that it's generating using all the documents in your library. If I toggle this off, I can then specifically choose which documents I want to generate information from. So if I'm only wanting to generate information on defense, logistics, airline, or energy and utilities, when I head back to the ideator, you'll see now that there's a specific yellow icon, and that will generate information only from that folder. This is a great way, again, if you are wanting to hone in on specific content, if you're wanting to repurpose past information, past bids, and bring it in, or reference specific case studies, you can do that with your library settings. We really do harness the power of being able to use your own personal, your own company documents. What's important to remember about this is that we are committed to industry best practices, and that has been affirmed by the latest ISO certification, the 27001 certification, as well as the Cyber Essentials CSA Trust. So you know that your documents are secure into your own organization. Only your users in your organization have access to your documents as it would in your normal folder library. So for the purpose of the demo, I will be generating using all the documents in my library. So let's say I want to find out a little bit more about this bid question that I've been given. So it says, how does AutogenAI make bidding more efficient? Now, this is where you would essentially put a part of your question. Now, if I want to add a little bit more context, this is where you want to use that to filter and guide the question as to what you are writing about. So I'm going to say this is a bid to join the UK government's artificial intelligence framework. Okay, so I've given it a little bit more guidance. Now I can modify my ideas and I can choose any one of the following idea generators, or some that are a bit more compound adjective focused. But I think what I'm going to go for today is strategic. So it then allows the ideas to be written in a bit more of a strategic way. So what will happen is ideas are now going to come from the internet, creative AI, and library AI. Will be written from a bit more of a strategic stance, and I will then be able to select specific ideas you want. What is so great about the ideator is that this is where you come to storyboard. This is where, even if you're wanting to structure specific win themes that you're wanting to embed into your bid proposal, this is where you can select those ideas that you want to include in your response. And the whole idea with Autogen AI is that it's about getting you to your first draft faster. It's making those mundane tasks a lot quicker. So instead of having to hound those busy SMEs, you can head over to the ideator, you can ask those subject matter expert questions, and you can get that information quickly. So if it's pulled information from your library, if you click on this, you can see exactly what source it has used. And likewise for the internet, you can see the 3 sources that it has pulled that specific information from. If you like an idea, you will click add. If you don't like an idea, you can remove it. And as you remove an idea, a new one will pop up. So I'm going to add another one from my library, and I'm going to add one from the internet. Now, these are the 3 ideas that I want to have in this response. And as you'll know in bid writing, dependent on what it is that, what your word count is for your response, you can generate paragraphs, which is going to give you a paragraph under each of these ideas, where these ideas become a bit more like a subheading. So let me show you what that does. If I click generate paragraphs, paragraphs will then be based off of these 3 selected ideas. So important to remember about AI, essentially what it is doing, it is semantically searching. So when it's pulling up these ideas, it is semantically searching through the internet, the library, and creative AI. And now that means that it looks at what is the most similar meaning. It's not a keyword search like Google, it's semantic searches. So it looks for the most similar meaning in relation to what you have in this question. Now you can see your ideas have pulled over to the editing page, and essentially you have your first draft response ready to go, structured response for you. You have your overarching question, and each of the ideas you selected as a subheading are there for you with the text below. You can immediately see your word count. If I click view sources at the bottom, you can see what sources have been used on this page to give you the text itself. Now, there are many things that you can go on to do from here, but another way I wanted to show you that you can use the software quite cleverly. I'm going to clear my editing page, and I'm going to head back to the ideator. I'm going to select 3 more ideas. Now, let's say, for example, you didn't need to have as much text for that response. You know, in bid writing, often you have to include so much information in such a small amount of word count option. So instead, I'm going to click copy to clipboard, and I'm going to take these 3 ideas and pasting them into the editor. And above that, I'm going to actually take my question. So I'm going to change it from a question to a statement and say, Autogen AI will make bidding more efficient by, and I've got these three points that I want to be included into that singular question, and that I've now turned into a statement. I'm going to click expand, and expand is amazing because it expands from your library, from creative AI or internet AI, and you can tick, untick the ones that you want. And I'm going to choose to expand to 150 words. You can select whatever word count you want here, 300, 400, but I'm going to select 150 words. And it will then expand for me. One thing I want you to note is that whenever you are generating, so whenever you are wanting to use the software, you will always get more than one option. As you can see here, it's giving you several options. It's written in different ways. It's written in 4 different ways. And why this is important, why this is key, is because that indicates that Autogen AI is more about augmented intelligence than artificial intelligence. And this is because we have given you the control and the power of what you want to in your outputs. You are deciding what text you want. It has to have that human element of seeing, okay, that's actually not giving me what I want so much. This needs a little bit of editing, and you can edit on the side. I like this paragraph from here, maybe that paragraph from this option, and you can pick and choose and select which ones you like. The other great thing is that your ideas, when using library AI or internet AI, it is coming from those sources in your library. Now, if you wanted to be specific to a specific source, you would use your library settings. So I'm going to select this option. And if I select that option, you'll see it is now going to replace my text with that. So now I have chosen the ideas from here, and I have quite cleverly put it into 141 words. The same way I have control over what I want. I'm controlling. I can enter my own custom idea. I can edit this idea. I am in control over the ideas that are going to be expanded on. Right, so the next thing I wanted to show you is how to embed and incorporate win themes or the commissioner's priorities, because often that is really important within your writing. I'm going to show you at Extract Beta, I uploaded this specification. I selected commissioner's priorities, And if I click this button over here, it switches over to the next page, and you can see it has extracted the commissioner's priorities out of this large specification into 2,000 words. It has extracted those key pieces of information. So if I were to extract, if I wanted to use this specific priority, I could copy it, okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is the Inputs tab. The Inputs tab has the ability to weave in elements into your text, to input elements into your text. So currently you can see we have company objectives, company values, tender requirements. I'm going to change this company values to commissioners' priorities. Okay, no. Oh, tease. So you can change it and it's editable as you'd like. These are just standard supportive elements here for you. And I'm going to paste in that commissioner's priority. And the idea that I wanted to show you is I can now take this text that I've highlighted, and with this incorporate button, I can quite literally incorporate that specific commissioner's priority. And what it does is it weaves in that priority into your text. It doesn't just drop it in. Think of it as like a golden thread. It's weaving that into your text, which is often really important and really needed for even if it's in the review phase and you're wanting to see how can you embed that last minute feedback in, you can do that with Incorporate. If you click Show Difference, you can see where those changes have been made, which is super useful. So the inputs is linked to these three features over here. Incorporate are the three columns, and you can incorporate anything that you need. Then translate is, translating everything to French, but translate is linked to language, and that you can change to anything. Then we have we will, which again takes you from that passive voice to that active voice. So for example, if I were to take, I'm going to select some of these. I don't want to select all of them. I just want to take a few of those commissioners' priorities as an example. And I'm going to head over to the inputs. I'm going to change it from company name to Autogen AI. I'm going to select these the commissioners' priorities. And what it does is it takes it from that basic specification text to saying how Autogen AI will do X, Y, Z. It takes you from that passive voice to that active voice quite quickly. And that then allows you to say, okay, quite quickly, Autogen AI will do X, Y, Z. And from here, you can then go on to use any of the other evidencing tools to add more information. So Autogen AI will ensure customer satisfaction rates are surveyed independently on a quarterly basis. Okay, that's cool. But as you know, in bid writing, they always want to know how. So you can use explain how, and it can give you information as to how you're going to do something. And then explain how users library AI, internet AI, and creative AI. What's lovely about explain how is it's always given it to you in different ways. It can be given to you options and lists, or it could be given in a written format. Right. So lastly is the research assistant. Now, research assistant is where you want to ask those factual-based questions. So here I've said, what are the main economic growth sectors in? And you can see that I've highlighted the word in. If I click on it, I added a variable. So I want to see what are the main economic growth sectors in the United Kingdom, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, and Australia. I want to compare those different variables to each other at the same time. If I click this down arrow, it allows me to ask another question. You can ask up to 10 questions at a time. And if I go generate, it will then generate the outputs for me. This pulls from your library and from the internet. So it doesn't use creative AI here. It pulls from the library and from the internet. So it is giving you those factual-based questions. And it's really great if you want them to search for something in your library. So while that, there we go. So we can see the United Kingdom is one variable. If I click on sources, it shows me the sources. and likewise for all of them. I could then copy this to clipboard. I'm just going to clear this so we have a nice fresh page, and I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to use a prompt for pure completion. So I'm going to say, turn the above text into a PowerPoint presentation explaining why we have decided not to bid in these regions. Okay, I'm going to click pure completion. And I haven't been quite specific in my prompt by saying include bullet points or no bullet points, that type of thing. But you can see now it's written it for me in a in a PowerPoint presentation. So pure completion is where you have the ability to use prompting to repurpose, change your text, or to write from scratch. Now, there are so many functionalities to show you. You can summarize your text. Like I said, you can improve your grammar. You can change your tense. You can rephrase something. You can reduce your word or character count, and you can select as much as you want, removing a word cutting and adding evidenced claims over here. So the other thing I wanted to show you is the ability to have a tone of voice feature. So with a tone of voice feature, it is our prompt engineers who analyze your style guides, your company style guides. And this works really well when you have several people who are working on a bid response, and you want to make sure that everybody is writing in a cohesive and consistent style according to your company. So our company's tone of voice is Shakespearean English, as you can see in yonder realm of United Kingdom. And that is just to demonstrate so that you can see and identify quite quickly that the tone of voice feature does actually work. So that is quite an important factor. If I wanted to show you this. If you had some text and you are wanting to get specific information, so here I've pulled information about training, and you're not too sure, you've read through some text and you're like, okay, I don't know exactly where did they get that piece of information from. You can highlight that and click search, and then search looks through the library on the internet, and it's semantic searches and keyword searches, and it has the ability to then find the source and tell you where that piece of information comes from. So at all times you are able to have sourced evidence and sourced claims on of your text. You can see there. This is also super useful if you wanted to take elements of the commissioner's priorities, because you want to see, is there something that we have, bidded for in the past? Is this something that we have done in the past? Because it might be a part of your go, no go decision, your pre-bid task. So you want to see, have we done this before? Is this something that we're going to have to, completely write, or is there past case studies that I can repurpose, that I can use? So you can paste that commissioner's priority in, click search, and it will look for anything that's in your library and anything that's on the internet to identify if you have ever written about this before. Obviously, it's dependent on what is in your library, and it will then show you those elements. At all times, you can always click on a source, and if this is something that you have written about, and it is something that you want to repurpose or reuse, you can insert that text. You could rephrase it if you wanted to, or you could expand it into something else. You could use pure completion to expand it into something else. Rephrase is a great way to, again, repurpose previous information. So I could use this text and then I could say, rewrite the, rewrite the above text as an executive summary. Executive summary explaining why Autogen AI has decided not to vet. Okay, let's just say that. And then you can click peer completion and it can do that for you. And it will then turn it into whatever it is that you need it to. Executive summary, a blog post, a PowerPoint presentation, a mobilization plan, an implementation program. It has the ability to do all of that. As an overall summary, with Autogen AI, you are able to edit your responses, evidence your claims using our evidencing tools. You don't have to be bugging your SMEs. You can generate ideas quickly and find quick points as to what you want to include in your response. You can use the research assistant to get those specific research elements. You can use both extract to save yourself time from reading long pages and pages of documents and extract that specific key information quite quickly. You can then embed that information into your text, whether it's tender requirements or win themes or the commissioner's priorities or even hot buttons. You have the ability to do that all at the click of a button. So that is all for today. And thank you so much for your time and for being here. I think we have Georgia, yes.
Hi, thank you so much for that, Demi. That was great. So I see that we did have one question come in through the Q&A throughout there. So Fiona Lowe asked, in the search function, when you entered IT, it pulled through everything with the letters "it" in it. And she asked if there was a more precise way to refine down your search so that the AI understands by IT that you mean information technology.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So it's obviously dependent. I think you're referring to the search in the library setting, in document library. Yeah. So it's all dependent about what is it. Okay. It's all dependent on what is in your library. So if you have specific documents in your library and you'll know, so when you're searching in your document library, actually, I probably should just keep my screen shared. So when you're looking in your document library, it doesn't just look at the heading of a file. It will look through your file and it will see, so in this report there is relation to this information on IT. If you want to be more specific, and you can say information technology if you would like to, but it is not just about the heading of the document, because it semantically searches. So it looks for anything that has the similar meaning both in the title and in your actual document itself. I hope that answers the question.
Hopefully that answers Fiona's question there. We had another question come in here. Let me just look through here. So we have a question from Chris Mantle here. So could this be used to upload and complete an SQ?
Yeah, so you can. So what's really great with extract is that you have the ability to upload and extract key information. So if we are looking at the possibility of within the product roadmap of also being able to evaluate and mark and according to a criteria.
Okay, that is perfect. Thank you so much, Demi. So Chris Mantle had another question here. Could you upload audio such as interviews with SMEs? So we don't work with audio, Chris, but what you could do is, if you did have audio, you could upload a transcript to your bid library, and then we could use that information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking through, waiting for any more questions to come in here. As well, we had a question from Andrea Gearing. She asked if the text can be exported into certain templates in Word or PowerPoint presentation. So
Yeah.
we export into oh, sorry, Demi.
No, it's fine. I just got excited by the question.
I'll let
So,
you take that
and
one. I'll let you
yeah,
take that
and
one.
I wanted to I'm just going to do the same one that I did earlier, just as an example. So I wanted to show that earlier, but I was conscious of having enough time for Q&As. So as you can see, we have this. So we have copy to clipboard. You can copy directly. But if you liked your text and remember, this is all about getting to the first draft. So if, say, for example, you've worked in your first draft and you want to work on something else or etc., you can click export over here and then it exports to a Word document. So I might say draft 1 and then I can export it and you'll see that it will then download and it will successfully save onto your laptop. So you'll be able to, or your desktop, be able to save quite easily.
That is perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Demi. And then we had another question coming here from Chris Mantle again. He asked, can the scoring criteria be extracted from the spec and used to review the created text?
And used to review the created text. Yes. Yes, and it a long way, yeah, short story, yes, essentially. So you'd be able to extract the key information and then currently with pure completion you can use it to say, does the above text meet the XYZ criteria? But yeah, as it is in the product roadmap to be able to mark and review content.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Demi. And then another question that's come in is if our software is using a specific bid writing process, for example, Shipley or APMP. So Chris, there's no forced workflow or process, but we do work with larger bid writing groups like APMP. But our tool has been created by expert bid writers for expert bid writers.
Yeah.
So we completely understand the bid process from start to finish.
Yeah. And we have many bid writers, yeah, on the team who have looked at, right, what is the process of a bid writer? And then that's when, you know, when you're using the software and you go through the training process, it's about, okay, we're in the start of a bid writing process. What are the best ways to go through the software? What is the best tools, the best workflows, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. As well, there was a question here from Joe Atkinson. She just asked if there are any collaboration features within the tool. So, sorry, I'm not sure if she means integration here, but we will have integrations coming soon. And as for collaboration features, Demi, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so with collaboration features, I think the focus for Autogen AI is more about taking those features and building them into our software. So when you look at the journey of Autogen AI, it's so incredible to see how much we've grown so quickly. And, you know, feedback from users is always important and valuable. And we're always developing, furthering, enhancing. As AI is ever changing, we're changing with the times. We're not just what you see today. If you were to join a demo in 2 months' time, there'd be something new, or a month's time, there's something new. We're always evolving with the time. So it's almost as if I want to say there's no need to collaborate because we are embedding it within our own software. Great.
Fantastic. Thank you, Demi. And then we just had one more question coming through here. So Andrea Gearing asked, can you integrate the library with another database that holds data, or is it just flat documents that it holds? So while data can be uploaded, Andrea, we primarily work with text and the generation of text. You know, in this tool, language is our main priority. So that is why we primarily work with text.
Yeah, being able to evaluate tables is also quite new within the system, new in the system, and being able to evaluate that as well. But essentially, yeah, it should mirror your current bid library, be able to.
Perfect. Thank you. And Alex Farley asked, so it's a minor point, but can we specify the language used in the answers to save having to change from US to UK English? So yes, we could do this all in Translate. I'm sure Demi will be able to show you very easily now.
Yeah, so with your translate features, you can see it's set to French. So you can change it here to British English. Now, one of the things with AI is it's based off of what is most common on the internet. Now, obviously, this is pulling from a document that we have uploaded and we have written it in British English, so there might not be anything here to change. But with AI, it is based off of what is most common, and what is most common on the internet is Americanisms, and that's something that unfortunately can't be changed, or fortunately for our American users. But yeah, you can quite quickly solve that by using our translate feature. Great.
Thank you. Hopefully that answers that.
Yes.
As well. So Jennifer has asked, can you elaborate on the data protections that are in place for our own for your own library materials? So all of your data is protected by our own ethical use ethical use policies, and as well we're up to date with all of the latest EU, US, APAC data protection laws. However, if you would like to find out about more specifically what data protections we have in place and what security we have in place, you can reach out to us at contact@autogenai.com, and we'll be happy to send you on some materials for that.
Awesome. Great.
We'll just give a couple of more minutes here and see if any more questions come through.
So I think Alex Farley's asked a question, how effective is the tech at helping with qualifying decisions or procedures? So I feel like it's quite a vague question. And I think it's in the context of what you would, be using it for. So the tech is able to source and pull information off of anything and for anything and compare and evaluate. So I feel like it would be quite easily supportive in qualifying decisions and procedures, and it is a great way in even coming up with new procedures or new ways to do something. I hope that answers your question, Alex. If not, post another one.
I think we've covered them all that are in the chat so far, but if anyone, we've got a couple of minutes left, so if anyone has any last minute questions, please feel free to put them into the chat now. Right, we'll just give one more minute, just to allow people just to be able to get in any last minute questions.
Yeah. I can see. Oh, never mind. I thought there was a question in the chat function, not the Q&A function, but I think Cam's responded to that, so that's all fine.
Okay, that's perfect. Well, I think if that is everyone's questions, that is just about coming up to our time. So thank you everyone who has joined us this evening. We really do hope that you found this helpful. For all of you who have registered, we will be sending a recording of this webinar to your email tomorrow, or if you have any more questions that come to mind maybe after this webinar, you can contact us at contact@autogenai.com. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone.